Hello! Condo Conversation is back with author Bryann Andrea. Am I saying this wrong?
Bryann Andrea.
Bryann Andrea. Sorry. She is the author of this beautiful book, The Blossoming Woman. Yeah?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. Okay, so I feel really bad because I invited her over because I thought she lived in Louisville. And she lives in Charlestown, Indiana. Bless your heart. And I didn't know. And I'm just like, yeah, girl, come on over.
No, it's okay. I'm really happy to be here.
Well,
like when you caught me at the gym and I was looking all rough, I was like, of course I would love to come be a part of your Condo Conversations. Like, absolutely. But no, I'm honored.
So this is how me and her met. And this is a very funny story. So we both took a boot camp. I was there for like a month-long thing, and I think you have the membership, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw her, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this girl is so beautiful. So then once you're in this boot camp, they put you in these like group chat things on Facebook. So we're all on this thing together, and I start looking at her photos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she is just striking. And then all of a sudden, I see this, that she wrote a book about one of my favorite topics. So let's jump into it.
Okay.
So how in the world, so you're not from here?
I'm not.
Where are you from?
Minnesota.
How did you find Louisville?
I've kind of been just jumping all over the place. So I started in Minnesota, and then my first year of school I spent at North Dakota State, and I was like, oh, huge culture shock, like
Yeah.
a very small agricultural town, and I was like, it's not really a good fit for me. So I started searching for HBCUs specifically.
Yeah.
And I reached out to Shaw, and they invited me to come up there to play, which is in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
So I jumped again, and they invited
So
me to
you
come
said to
there.
play.
Yeah.
What do you play?
Basketball.
Oh.
Well, I did play basketball. I don't got it anymore, but I did. I did. So I got a full ride there, and then
Congratulations.
thank
Wow.
you.
That's hard.
It is. And then after that, I was job searching, and a man from LinkedIn had reached out to me and presented me an opportunity to come out here and work. So then I ended up out here.
Awesome. Okay. So let's jump into your career and your college. So you went all 4 years?
Yes.
At North Dakota?
Nope, 1 year at North Dakota and then 3 years at Shaw.
At Shaw. Okay.
Yes.
So when you were there, what was your major?
Business administration.
And what did you want to do?
I had no idea. I knew something related to like the nonprofit sector of the world because I just really wanted to get in a position to like do more with women and empowerment and things like that. But I know when you don't have the, philanthropy money right off the bat, you gotta think about something else. So when college came to an end and my basketball career came to an end, I'm just like plugging away, like what's a good fit for me? What am I gonna do? And then that's when I jumped into sales.
Oh, okay. So now you're doing pharmaceutical sales.
Yes.
And what does that all include? Like, what does that mean?
I can't talk.
From a fashion standpoint, I have no.
I can't talk elaborately about it because there are some like confidential things within the company.
Ooh.
But basically, you just go and talk to providers about all of the different things you have to offer in your portfolio regarding whatever treatment.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
concerned.
Okay. Well, that was my background information about her. So, how do you like this area?
I love it. I need to do more of
How
just
long have you been
staying-
here?
I've been here for 2 years.
Okay.
Now, I need to do more of just staying here and, like, finding out the little treasures of Louisville because I
Yes.
feel like all the free time I get, I try to travel.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, what do you do here for fun? And I'm like, not much. Like, I need to go out and look. I'm on Facebook looking at, like, events around me and everything like that.
So, you live in Charlestown. You're pharmaceutical sales.
Yes.
You're new to Louisville.
Yes.
You have a little partner. You have a guy.
Boyfriend, yeah.
Hi, boyfriend. I know you're watching. Is he from
So he was born in Connecticut, but then raised in North Carolina. So we met at college.
North Carolina? What part of North Carolina?
Raleigh.
My little sweetie's from North Carolina. He's
Really?
from Hendersonville.
Yeah.
Yes, he's been here for about 5 years.
Oh, okay.
I snatched him up quick.
Okay.
Snatched him up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, girl. That one couldn't stay on the market long. Once you meet a good man, you gotta
Get him.
snatch him up, put some locks and keys on him. There you go. He's so cute. Anyway, sorry. So let's talk about the big thing here, and that is your book.
Okay.
So let's talk about what I love the cover.
Thank you.
What made you write a book?
It's kind of an accident. I would never intentionally set out to be.
It was an accident to write 400 pages. Okay, girl. Let's do it. It was an accident. I sat down and wrote 400 pages of a book.
Yeah.
So,
well, a little more of a, like, you have to understand my background to really understand the book. I feel like.
So let's talk about the background.
A little juicier.
Woo, tea.
So in 2010, I was having a really hard time, like any other teenager, you know.
Absolutely.
And it was really all about self-discovery for me because I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety.
Stop. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I needed to find a better way of coping with things than what I was doing, you know. There was just so many, like, pressures from people my age, and they weren't really doing the right things, and I fell into that.
What do you mean, like drugs and alcohol?
Yeah, just like the alcohol and the party scenes and things like that.
And were these your college years?
High school.
High school years.
Yes.
You're really young. How old are you?
24.
She's a baby! Holy moly! I have a child in the house! Little tinks! 24?
Yes.
Oh, girl. Okay, so really, high school is like the worst time ever. I feel like middle school and high school, it's like, throw it away.
No, seriously. I mean,
seriously.
I had a great group of people around me. I cannot.
Family, friends?
Yeah, definitely friends. And being an athlete, you just have that support from, like, your athlete community.
Did that pressure come from being an athlete?
No, not at all. I would say the complete opposite.
Yeah.
But, like, there were so many things going on at home that I was looking for things outside of my home to kind of cope with everything and deal with everything.
Ooh, sis.
When you have that,
I totally identify.
Yes. So
that's so crazy.
I know. And so, you know, one of the more healthier ways I would cope with things was to write things down.
Awesome.
And it started in 2010, and I would just pick up the pen when need be, when I felt like, you know, things were getting hard, and come up with different affirmations and things that I'm just learning over my experiences. And I was like, geez, I have a lot of stuff written down already. I might as well just keep it going. And, you know, I would share pieces of it across different social media platforms, and I feel like the people I follow and the people that follow me kind of go through, like, similar things.
Yeah.
So they're, like, very responsive to it. It's something that's resonating with them, and I'm like, oh, this is having a little bit of impact, so, you know, I'm going to turn it into a book and see what it can do.
So how did you identify that you were dealing with depression? Was it anxiety too? Anxiety and depression? Mm-hmm. How did you identify that in high school? Did you know what all that meant? How did you, because when I was in high school, I mean, it was a long time ago, but, oh, Jesus. But when I was getting bullied, and people were insensitive to the things that they didn't know, you know, like the things that were going on at home or with the family. They obviously didn't know about it, but people were just mean. And so, I mean, I would find ways to cope. I would avoid a lot of people. I would walk, you know, in different hallways so I didn't have to deal with people, because when you have all this other exterior things going on, and then you have to deal with the stress and pressures of being a teenager on top of that, it's like, it's sometimes overwhelming. Right. And looking back at it now, I feel like everybody goes through it. Yeah. Everybody goes through it, but no one talks about it. No one deals with it.
And today it just gets worse, because now we have social media.
I thank God.
And all that. I'm just like, oh my goodness.
So when 2010, Facebook was up.
No, but we were still on, I feel like we were still on MySpace in 2010. So it wasn't as bad as what it is today.
Yeah. Because I can't imagine. Like, the rumors were bad enough, but if we had social media in conjunction with all that, I probably just...
It'd be so much more amplified.
Yeah. And then there's no outlet, you know? And I think that writing a book is a great way to put all that energy into something positive.
Right.
So good for you.
Thank you.
So what was your inspiration for writing the book?
Basically that, and just the thought of, like you said, there are so many other girls out here that are going through it. Like, I can't name one teenage girl who's like, oh, I live this happy, perfect life. And I'm just like, there's nothing that I know of out there to really speak to these issues. Yeah. So I'm going to put one together, and hopefully it'll help someone that was in my position.
So you said the people that you were following kind of inspired you. Who were some of the people that you know or that you follow or in the entertainment world who inspired you to kind of do this?
Definitely Joyce Meyer.
Oh.
And she's a preacher.
Is that the lady with the short hair?
Yeah, she's a preacher. Short hair.
Yeah.
Older white woman.
Yeah.
But she, I used to read a lot of her books growing up too, before I actually started writing. And specifically the format of the book is what inspired it, because she would have like little devotionals. And I was like, okay, these are just like little quick hit messages, but they're really resonating with me. So I really liked that writing style and just definitely all the information that I gathered from it. And I was like, this is something I can do.
So what's so funny to me is that you're so young, but you would never, like, talking to you and seeing you out, I would have never imagined that you were this young. Yeah. I mean, because you just come off like a mature, established woman.
I don't know what it is. Everyone says that, like, even my younger friends are like, you're so serious. I'm like, I'm not serious. They're like, yes, you are. But
who do you think you get that from, your mom or dad?
Probably my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's, like, always been about her business. And so I think that kind of just trickled down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so how did you do the book? How did you write it?
Let's see.
Did you go through a publisher?
I did, yeah. I went through a publisher, 13th and Joan. They're out of Chicago. Black-owned firm. So I was really excited about that. Yeah, she's phenomenal, and she works with people from all over the nation. So I found her on Instagram because I think I'm like like a junk food TV person, whatever. So she was working with like some of the clients from like Love and Hip Hop, and I was like, you know what? I've been looking for a publisher. Let me see what she's about. But her like portfolio is just so like all over the place. Like she's worked with tons of different kinds of people, not just people from Love and Hip Hop. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. And I wrote her, and she's like, get in touch with such and such. And then like a week later, we're on the phone and like putting things together. And I was like, okay, cool.
Was it expensive? Like, I have so many questions.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's like different packages. So I went with the package because this is my first time writing a book. I went with the package that allowed me to have like coaching tips and like she would give me feedback on like the tone of the book and the structure and the marketing stuff that I didn't really know, like what did I need to do, the content calendar, all that kind of stuff, like the meet and greets, all that. Like she put that together for me, so it was a little bit more expensive. Like, probably a couple $1,000.
Really?
Yeah.
So you went through her. You didn't go through. So have you ever heard of Blurb?
No.
Okay. So Blurb is a little fun fact. I wrote a book. I wrote a beauty book.
I need details. What?
I did. I wrote a beauty book. It isn't published. I wrote it on Blurb because I do everything online. I'm that girl. And I kind of have a name, but I don't know if it's going to stick. But it's called Beautiful You, and it's all about helping women tap into their own beauty instead of looking up to, say, a Kim Kardashian or someone whose beauty isn't really all that authentic, but just enjoying what you have and amplifying and working with what you have, what God gave you. Yeah. Because I feel like too many women are, now I am not opposed to some Botox, a nip tuck, snatch back, but all in like moderation, you know, like, I'm okay with some Botox because, one day, maybe.
Well, you don't need it now.
Thank you, sweetie. Snatched. Yes. Woo! But, so I went on Blurb, and Blurb will like send it to Amazon and do all this stuff. But I had 2 people read it, and I got some pretty decent feedback, but I'm so self-conscious about my writing. So I'm always like, and I'm so like, social media and all that stuff is just so scary. Like even doing this is frightening, because you never know if you're being authentic enough or if people are going to receive it or how they're going to receive it. So, I try to stay true to what I think is going to work, So, it's interesting that you wrote this and that you have a publisher. So tell me the name of the firm again.
13th and Joan. And I think they put
13th and Joan.
They put their little stamp in here somewhere.
Sorry, I already have it marked for things I'm going to read.
Let me see.
Your book is beautiful. So these pages of like flowers.
Yes, there they go.
13th and Joan. If you want to write a book, I suggest getting in contact with them.
Yes, they are awesome.
13thandjoan.com. That's crazy. So, and then they have the whole little thing right in here. Like, this is so real. It's just so cool to meet somebody who's written a book. So, as a Black woman, what are your thoughts about like pop culture and wellness and how it affects teens 20-somethings today?
Yeah.
Like negative things that you see that need to be improved, and then some positive things.
I think today with our current climate, we feed off of a lot of, and it's kind of contradictory for me to say this because I'm like a fan of junk food TV, like I'm into it, whatever. But I think that has like such a larger platform than need be.
Yeah.
Like there should be things of bigger discussion and things of more importance at, you know, the top of these platforms rather than like who's still whose man or like
don't get me started.
What's the latest?
Oh, I don't even watch anything on VH1 anymore. Yeah. Like when I was growing up, so when Love and Hip Hop first started, it was Jim Jones and Chrissy.
Yes.
Are they still doing it?
No, I think they're on this other show, like this rehabilitation show now.
They need to be. So I got into that because I love seeing like beautiful couples on TV. I love to see powerful women doing big things. So that was when Love and Hip Hop came out, Basketball Wives came out. I was like, Shawnee O'Neal's doing something. Ooh, I want to get into it. And it was trash.
Yeah.
It was real trash. So it made me sad to see that. So I stopped watching that. And I was kind of into the Kardashians before they started acting a fool. Stopped watching that. So now all I watch is MSNBC.
Yeah, but these are like the pillars of our community. I feel like I have a hair in my mouth.
It's one of those things.
Let's keep it real.
I think you got it. I think you got it.
But these are like the pillar platforms of our community. Like we feed so much into this, and I feel like
and we bring it to life.
Yeah, and not enough into each other. Like these attitudes that we see on TV, it's definitely prevalent in our communities. Like you see it in the church.
Yeah.
You see it at the mall.
Yeah.
You see it, at work.
Yeah.
It's just it's become too much, and like we said, we can't hide away from the fact that social media is like one of the main delivery platforms for like all of this stuff.
But you know what? I feel like in some situations, social media can be such a positive thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know why. I know why. I don't want to say I don't know why people use it for negative things, because I do. People are so unhappy. And I think that's why something like this is so great, because people need to tap into why they're unhappy.
Yeah.
And that may be scary and it may be too deep, but I see it in it comes out in their fashions. Because if they're unhappy and they don't feel good about themselves, they don't put their best foot forward. And you can tell, you can look at somebody and be like, ooh, girl, are you tired?
Yeah.
Sweats again? Dreadful. Ugh. Like, we still doing leggings? You gonna ever get out of that?
Oh.
Like, I don't mind a little, like yesterday I wore some cute little sweats, some little joggers with a little pump. Thank you, sis. Thank you. But I mean, even I get in ruts, and you can tell when I get in a rut because things might mentally not be right with me. But once I come out of it, you see I'm back in my accessories, I got my beat on. But I just feel like in this area, I'm from this area, so I guess I see it more, but I've been around different places that is really strong. And then I meet a lot of women who are saying, well, I don't have time to get dressed up. I have this many kids. And I'm like, no, you can still have time for yourself, and you should take time for yourself.
I guess I've never really thought about it like that. That's a good point.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm in it.
Teaching me. I love it.
Hey. Well, I'm about 12, 13, 14 years older than you. I have lived this life, sis. But, I have been in and out of therapy for probably 10 plus years.
What was your experience like with that, though?
So, it was amazing. I first went to therapy in 2001. I don't even know what year it is anymore. 2001. Consistently. And it was right after 9/11. Yeah. So, I think, yes. So, I had a young lady, and an older lady, but she talked me through a lot of things, and it made me discover a lot of things. And she asked me questions that I would never even imagine anyone to ask me, because I wouldn't have found the connection.
Right.
And so, a lot of times with therapy, like now, there's a group therapy session that goes on for free over at the Brown, and it's a codependency class. And I don't know the name of it, but they actually hand out like paper pamphlets or whatever you call them, and it's like exercises that you can do, like mental exercises, because I have gone through a lot. I have a lot of mental stuff that I go through, and I have strong blocks. Yeah. Like I will put up a brick wall. I will have somebody out of my life. I mean, I get deep into my mind for all kinds of reasons that we don't need to talk about today. But so I needed to find an outlet, but I didn't know until I was talking to one of my girlfriends one day, and I was just like going off about like my life and how I'm not getting a fair shot and da 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 da, and I was just like being really disgusting with my words, just like, ugh, nothing positive was coming out of my mouth. You know, it was all negative.
Yeah.
And so she said, I think you need to go talk to this person. And I was like, oh, what? And I went, and I didn't know that I was even a codependent person. Like, I thought that I was just this independent woman, throw my hands up. And then I didn't know what the word meant. I didn't know that, codependency is a huge umbrella of many, many things. The only problem with going to therapy is that then you look at people and you're like, you got it, something wrong with you, you need Jesus. Like, you just start to see too much. And it's like the problem with knowledge. When you know a lot, or when you read a lot, and you're faced with a lot of people who might not be that deep into things, then you're like, you should read this book.
Right.
You should go to therapy. And then they're like, but all I want to do is just do things that aren't appropriate or something. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things. There's so many things. I'm trying to say things without saying things. But, so it's difficult. But I loved it. Therapy is the most amazing thing. And I suggest that people really get into it. And those classes in Louisville at the Brown, babe, is it called the Brown?
I'm sorry?
Is it called the Brown where the Cody classes are?
I don't think so.
It's not the Brown.
I'll look it up.
Okay. So they're actually free, and they're group sessions. And they start with a prayer, and the lady is board certified. It's amazing. It is one of the best things I've ever done. And it helped me out because so Beyonce has a song called Flaws and All.
Yes.
Okay. And all the things that she says in that song, I was acting out, but I wasn't doing it on purpose. But all those things were like, you need to go get help. I hope Beyonce's gotten some help. But hi. But it's I neglect you while I'm working. When I need attention, I tend to nag.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I'm a host of imperfections, but you see past all that.
Yeah.
And I think
it's just so funny because like these songs came out when I was a little bit younger, and I was like singing "I'm Not Knowing What They Meant," and then now I'm like, wait, what did she say?
Oh my gosh! Jesus. I mean, if you listen, y'all know, I know you're gonna hear me say it 1,000 times because she is my fave. But Jay-Z and Beyonce's albums have really helped me. I don't want to say they haven't, but they have helped me and my husband out because if you listen to the lyrics of the things that they say. Jay-Z has a line that says, I'm trying to give you $1 million worth of knowledge for $9.99. But it's like he's trying to make us all wealthy and to make us think about ways to get to that next level for the price of a CD, a stream or whatever. So it's actually like prompted us to buy that other condo. You know, he has a line where he says, I could have bought Dumbo for exactly the same situation. So if y'all would just pay attention, it's in the lyrics.
It's in the music.
It really is in the music. And I know people make fun of me all the time because they know I am a huge Beyonce stan, but for a reason. I mean, those lyrics, if you go back and you listen to those lyrics of Flaws and All, you'd be like, ooh. Right. It's real. Yeah. It's really, really real. Okay, let's talk about your relationship. Speaking of really, really real. Yeah. What does he think about all this? And how long have you guys been together?
We've been together for about 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 20? Jesus. She is a baby. A baby.
Yeah. So he's 23. He actually turns 24 next month.
Wait a minute. I just realized something. So you're 24 and you're living with this guy. What do your parents say? Mark Miles, my dad, girl.
You'd have faith.
Oh. My daddy would be like, well, I'm on my way home. He lives in Chicago. Well, I will get the truck. It'll be empty.
Oh, my goodness.
Bring it on.
No, it's been so funny, like, when we tell people that, especially, like, on a professional level. I think I invited, like, some of the people I work with to my housewarming, and I'm like, yeah, my boyfriend and I are having a housewarming. They're like, boyfriend? They're like, I thought you were giving me an engagement, like, whatever, invitation. I'm like, nope, not quite there yet. But, like, you know, everybody has their own personal views. But with, like, the current climate and divorce rates, like, I don't know. I feel like I would encourage you to just try it out. Like, you don't know so much about this person until you actually live with him. That there's so much I've uncovered about him because we're in the same household.
Sis.
And I'm like,
yes.
Okay, I would not have gathered this about you from college.
So what's something that you realized about your man that you didn't know until you moved in with him?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, we live like a student athlete life, so we're like always in
is he an athlete too?
Yeah.
Oh.
He played basketball too.
Oh. were there any trust issues there?
No, because I mean we had the same schedule. So
you had to drop on him. See, that stuff makes me nervous. Athletes have always.
And you know, athletes, whatever you do in the public eye, you know, around your little college territory, it gets out there. So.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
No.
So you had the people over at your house and you did the housewarming.
We haven't had it yet.
Oh. Okay.
We haven't had it yet. But I would just encourage people to try it out because the divorce rates are high.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, you throw in that pre-trial to see if it works out, it might eliminate some of that divorce down the line.
So are you the type of person who believes that once you're married like a religious type of thing? Because that's really popular here in this area.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like hardcore.
This is not the first time I've heard about it recently. Like, just the idea of once you're married, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, some of these celebrity relationships are amplified and you see what they go through.
Yeah.
Automatically, I'm like, that could not be me. Like, married or not. I don't know. I've spent so much time building this deep relationship and, you know, love within myself.
Yeah,
it's like, how could anybody love me and treat me that way? Is there really love? Should I really
Who could love me more than I love myself?
And if you're getting in the way of that, you know, and you're altering how I feel about myself in the midst of whatever you're doing, then you need to go.
I really, really believe that is the root of a great relationship. If you personally love yourself, like genuinely love yourself, not like, ooh, I'm so fine, I love myself. Like, no. Like to the core of you, because that is what brought me to my husband, because I was in a terrible, like I said, a bad place. Terrible. Yeah. And so when I let all that go, I started working out. I started going to LAC in Clarksville, and I lived in Clarksville at the time. And I was working out, and I just let the negative thoughts go. And I think part of that was working out and it kind of being like my therapy, and I started meeting new really great friends. And then the next thing you know, I went to meet those really great friends one night at a little salsa night dance lessons thing, and he was there, and I was in a really great place mentally, you know, and I was able to see him. Yeah. Because when you're not in a good place mentally, you don't see certain things. Yeah. You don't pick up on little things because you're too busy, like in your head, focused on the wrong things. So I was clear and I was out there having a good time, and I walked up them stairs and paid my $5, and I walked over there and I was like, I paid $5, I did not pay $10 because I wasn't. And I walked up and I saw him, and I was just like, well, there he is. That's the man I'm going to marry. And I had no doubt. And we've been together ever since then. It's been almost 5 years. But that's what I'm saying. I snatched him up quick. Yeah. As soon as he landed, I was like, well, come on in, buddy. Welcome to my life. But that's something that I find that a lot of women are always wanting to be in relationships. And I, again, with that therapy background in my head, I'm like, girl, you are not ready.
No, see, and you got to be careful about that too, because when you're not ready, then you start to attract people who are also.
Say it loud and say it proud. That's true.
It is true, because when I think about our previous relationships, which I don't hold anything against them, we're like all cordial now, and in a good space. Yeah. But it's just like the things that I was going through. One, I commend you for dealing with me, because that was a lot of stuff to deal with.
True talk. Yeah. That is so true.
Two, like, I get why we don't work, because I attracted you while I was in that space.
In your mess.
Yeah.
Man, that's true. And people think that, one of the things I said to my therapist once was, why don't men like me? And she was just like, what? I know she probably thought I was crazy, but I thought that I couldn't attract a man. Like, I just thought it was impossible because I was never a dating girl.
Yeah.
Like, I never had boyfriends. I was never like, oh, hey. Like,
but I would not be able to read that from you.
Oh, girl. You didn't know me in high school. My daddy was very strict, though.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to make sure that I wasn't out here having 1,000 children because he was not for the games.
Yeah.
And 2, he wanted me to have like a career and a life. And he didn't want me to end up like this person. He would give me examples. You don't want to end up like this person.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up like that person. And I was like, okay, Dad, okay. But in that same frame, he kind of hindered me, not on purpose, from even like being able to have those interactions. Because I was like, no, my daddy said, no.
Right. And then do you feel like when it came like the time for you to actually get out there and venture, you were
called college.
Awkward. You were like awkward, like
super awkward.
This has never happened.
What do you do? I was in shock. But guys didn't really hit on me either. Like, I was not that girl either. So when I did go to college and the guys like gave me attention, I was like, me? Oh, you see me? Oh, okay. Well, this is weird. Like, what do I do now? And so then that's when the awkwardness came in because I never like went on little dates and stuff. I think I went on one date. I did when I was in high school. I went to the movies with Mr. Keith Freeman. Hi, Keithy. But yeah, that's the only date that I think I went on. I can't remember it, and if I forgot, I'm sorry, but I can't. Daddy was not. My dad would pick up the landline and be like, "Christy's not here." I'd be in mid conversation.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I gotta go, guys. Like, no, not.
Oh my goodness.
Not playing it. Were your parents strict?
Yeah. My mom, especially.
See?
She's like, I think my first date, she actually came. She came with. And it was also at the movies. But, so we're all at the mall, and she's just walking around. She's like, yeah, I'll be here. And I was like, okay.
Sitting
But
right
I know the only reason, like, she'll be there is because I'm there with another guy. So it's like, all right, Mom, cool. Is this really a date? Or is it just like... What is this?
That's so funny. So do you think you parent the same way that your parents parented? Woo.
No.
Yeah?
No. I mean,
because you know that's like, people do that.
Yeah.
Unconsciously.
No.
It's the strangest thing.
I think the relationship that I have with my parents has taught me a lot. I mean, at least that's the most I can say. But
Amen.
You know, it was definitely a learning experience. There are some things where I'm like, oh, that made sense.
Wait, did you have young parents?
No.
No, you had older. See, I had young parents.
I'm one of 5, so I'm the baby.
No.
And by the time they got it together, there was me. So.
We'll talk offline. 5?
Yeah.
Are you the where do you fall in the line?
The youngest.
You're the baby.
Yeah. So they've had many.
What's the oldest?
I think they're in their 30s, late 30s.
So, oh wow.
My mom had her first child real young, like 15, 16.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And by the time she got to me, I think it was like the same thing you said. She just was very like, I've seen so much in my life. I'm really trying to prevent you from going through any of this.
Yeah. You know what's so funny though? I feel like I should hold this up. Thank you. I think that people don't realize, me looking on the outside looking in, when I see people who have kids early, I wonder if they're the same person. And I mean, I say this kind of silly sounding, but I wonder if they're the same person from when they had that child at, let's say, 23, that they are when they're 33, when they are when they're 43. And then I think about those relationships that people are in their 20s. Because I know I couldn't have handled it.
No.
There is absolutely no way that I would have been able to be a parent. And so when I look at people like my parents who had kids really young, I'm thinking, there is no way.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I get it. But when I was younger, I was like, I had all this resentment and stuff. But now I'm like, they did the best that they could. Like, really, they did the best they could because they were children.
You ever see those commercials where they're like, it's a couple and they have like their first kid, and then they're like preparing for the next one, and by like the third kid, they're like all loose with parenting. It was like complete opposite for my parents. Like the first kid
they got tighter.
Yeah, the first few kids they had, they were very young, still trying to figure things out, and it was just like, you know, trial and error. And I commend my siblings because they weren't in a good place when they had them. But by the time they got to me, they kind of had, you know, more of a grip on their lives and who they were, and were in a more foundational place for children. So it was just like a real tight grip. Like,
are your parents still together?
No.
Yeah.
They divorced when I was real young. So
yeah, my mom and dad got divorced when I was young too. My mom, she's hilarious. She is married now, and my dad just got married.
Mine too.
Really?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Whoa. No. Whoa. What?
Yeah.
How'd you find out? Were you there? Did he tell you?
No, I went. I was at the wedding.
Oh.
And his wife has been a huge part of our lives for a while. Like I said, because they've been divorced since I was young. So I feel like after that happened, that was like his girlfriend for a while, and then
your phone's ringing.
No, oh, that's him. He's calling me.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Dad.
Is he watching this right
Dad, we're busy. What's your dad's name?
Bryann.
Bryann. Bryann, we are busy right now, but we'll call you back later.
Yeah. No, but his wife is amazing. My stepmom, she's amazing. So I have no complaints there. It wasn't awkward for me at all because I feel like I've known her almost all my life.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Does she have kids with your dad?
No. She has a daughter of her own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all 5 by mom and dad. I'm so nosy.
No, it's fine. So my mom had a son.
Okay, son.
My dad had 2 girls.
2 girls. Got it.
And together they had my brother, who died from sudden infant death syndrome.
What is that? SIDS?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the shaken? What is that one?
I really don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Kids.
I don't know.
No kids.
So I had an opportunity to meet him.
Oh.
And then they adopted my neighbor, who was.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was like, no.
Yeah. No. But yeah. So she was going to.
But that is so sweet, though.
Yeah. She was going through a lot, and they seen an opportunity to do for somebody. So they said, you know,
that's nice.
You 2 get along already. We'll take her in.
I mentally adopt people all the time.
Do you?
I just mentally adopted a young boy not too long ago because I see kids. And I feel like I'm in a really unique position to be so clear thinking, and my husband is a very nurturing person, and I feel like I can offer a lot of good advice, especially to kids who are like on their way to college. You know, watch out for those student loans. Don't take any drugs, and really do something with your career. Like, do something with your education. That's my biggest regret about college, is that I kept thinking, as soon as I graduate, I'm going to go work for some magazine and be a fashion editor, or I'm going to be a stylist to the stars or something. And so I tried hard in college, but I could have tried so much harder, you know?
It was so opposite for me. It was so opposite for me. Like high school, it was so hard because I was going through all that stuff. And then things were changing at home, so it was just so much to keep up with. My grades were slipping. We didn't have any money, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm 2 seconds away from enlisting. And no, I'm so serious. I talk about it in the
I didn't think you were gonna say that. Enlisting, that's a stretch. That's there.
It is. And I'm like, you know, I don't know what else to do with my life at this point. Like, I need to do something, and that seems like the most reasonable because we're kind of bored. And so I'm playing all these sports. I'm like, oh my God, I pray to God, like, I'll get a full scholarship to go somewhere. And that finally happened, and it was just like a miracle because, I'll say it, I graduated high school with like a 2.7 maybe.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I did graduate from college with a 3.2.
All right.
So
I guess that is what you're supposed to do. Kind of be better in college. The older you get, the more mature you get.
Well, you know, once I got there, I was like, I'm not going to take advantage of this opportunity. Like, I'm here, and we didn't think I was going to be here. So I just need to make the most of it.
Yeah. And that's the way you should think. I wasn't that way.
No.
I don't know why. I don't know what I was thinking. Again, I was in my mess. I mean, I was poor too, but I was like on another level. Poor because I was living in Chicago.
What is it?
I'm sorry. There's a random man walking through my apartment or condo complex, but no, I was a different type of poor because when you live in Chicago, in Inner Lakeshore Drive, in a great place, you probably should work a little harder to keep the place that you're in. I did not.
Okay.
And I literally don't know why. I think that at one point when I lived there, I just gave up. I wanted the life of, the people that I saw. There was a young lady that I saw her evolve as a PR professional, and she was just doing all these amazing things, and now she's working for Nike, and I would just message her and be like, how did you do it? How did you get there? What were your steps? And I know she's probably like, please stop bothering me. But I wanted to really, really know how she made it work. Yeah. I was desperate for that information. And there was no tips or tools. She was just like, you got to work hard. But in my mind, I didn't think that work hard meant work hard in school. I don't know. My brain, sometimes I was just trying to survive. I mean, at one point when I lived in Chicago, I had to get food stamps. That's how poor I was. I was like, I'm making zero money. And I couldn't even afford to come home. So for Christmases and Thanksgivings, like I was just living in Chicago, and I was praying that I didn't get my cable cut off because I would be so bored. Yeah. But I was, taking the money from my student loans, and I was spending it like a crazy person because at the time, I wasn't really a good money management person. And then I got credit cards on top of that, and I was in fashion, so I was trying to keep up. And I mean, I spent $60 one time on a vintage Gucci bag, and I don't know why. And it didn't
$60 though?
I mean, yeah, that's a win.
I mean, that's a win.
That's a W. It's right over there somewhere. But I mean, I shouldn't have at the time. I probably should have gotten groceries. Yeah, my lowest point was when I was at the grocery store, Jewel Osco, holla. And I was in line, and I didn't have any money, but I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. So my neighbor actually had to give me $40 cash because I kept getting declined. Yeah. And so he gave me money, and then he started leaving me food at my doorstep.
Oh, so sweet.
He was a good guy. I don't know where he is today, and that was such a long time ago, but I mean, you just make bad choices. And so I say all that to say, how in the world are these people parents at 25? Yeah. I would suck. I would have been the worst mom ever. Yeah. But people always say you get it together, but I don't really believe that to be true.
Like at what age, at what point do you get it together?
Right. Because don't you feel like when your parents were starting out, it took, like you said, a long time to get it together. Mm-hmm. I mean, by the time they got it together, how old were you?
No, they got it together by the time
you were born.
I was born.
So all your siblings were what?
I had to live through that.
Yeah.
Era.
I am kind of nervous right now because there's just randomness. There's that's the guy's condom we're buying.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Brett.
I think that's who he was looking for, who was walking through.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we're having sad conversations.
We're peeping.
We are creeping. Anyway, no, but wellness and mental health issues, I think, in the Black community especially, is something that really needs to be talked about and focused on, because we don't talk about it at all.
And I feel like we say this almost every year, and still nothing changes.
What do you think, or what are your thoughts on like the crime and stuff in Chicago?
I don't know. I want to say stuff without stepping on toes. Or
I know. It's so tricky.
Being too
because as soon as you hit a trigger on somebody, they're going to be like, well,
she said this.
Oh my God. And then you're like,
right.
I'm trying to say things.
No, I mean, it's horrible. Especially when you look at like the opioid epidemic now. It's just like, instantly I'm like, okay, it's only become an epidemic because it's starting to affect, the more prosperous neighborhoods.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Isn't this so hard to talk?
It is.
See? People, y'all don't get it. We try to say things that you don't want to offend people, and we have careers and...
But, in our communities, we've been dealing with all sorts of different epidemics for such a long time, but we
long time.
We don't get the same attention. So
and it's getting worse.
Yeah, and when you look at crime rates and all of the violence and everything going on in Chicago, it's like you put these people in undeveloped communities, and it's full of poverty, and they don't have many job opportunities
and an education.
One, they're being targeted by the police, and once you get in that record, it's hard to become employed or become educated or become qualified for loans and so on. So it's like, what do you really expect them to do? So they result to the street life. They're stealing, they're killing, they're getting it by any means because we just leave them no choice. So
what can we do? Like, it's such a frustrating thing because I feel like So I feel like when I lived in Chicago, I felt the safest I'd ever felt because there's always people around. And so you feel like if something goes down, you're going to be like protected by someone because people always have your back. No matter what, it's the sweetest thing. I dropped my lip gloss one time and somebody chased me down the street to give it back to me. And I was like, oh, thank you, appreciate it. My neighbor giving me money at the grocery store. They always have your back in that situation. And I feel like people who and that was where I was living, but when I came home, I felt unsafe because there's not a lot of people around. But I also felt like people were mocking or copycatting the things that they saw in the news in Chicago. Like they felt like that's the way that they had to go. And so when I was growing up I wasn't living in a beautiful neighborhood or anything, but it was fine. I would see the people who were like AB honor roll students like getting gold grills and trying to play around with this whole drug thing, and I was just like, but why? Why are you doing this? It makes no sense. And they would just see it or hear it in music and think that they could replicate that, and it was like, but why? Stop. Like, you have A's and B's, like ride out with that, like let that be your thing. So I mean, if Chicago, like if Chicago could get it right, other places would be like, okay, it's okay. Let's just, it doesn't have to be the way that it is. Because I feel like in Louisville, in the West End, I don't feel like that's necessary.
No.
They have way too much opportunity.
I was very surprised when I moved here. Right. And I seen that. Like,
for what?
I've only been here for 2 years, but I say when summer comes around, I'm just fearful of everything going on around here because I can't put on the news without hearing so-and-so's been shot or there's been a stabbing or whatever.
And it's like, for what? It's like, you have so much opportunity in this city, and even if you can get your foundation here and then go somewhere else. But it's like, why do you think that this is the life that you deserve or the life that you need? And it's so small. It's such a small population. And I always want to do something in the West End or do something for people to show them that, and that's part of the reason why I do this, to show people that there's another way out there. Don't fall prey to the silliness.
Yeah, we were at, I forgot what seminar it was at, but it was at a church. But attached to the church is like some type of art gallery. Are you familiar with this place? I don't know what it's called. I forgot. It's been like a year and a half.
Probably not if it's a church.
Yeah. So the pastor came from Canaan, and then there was an officer on the panel as well as this artist who paints murals and portraits of gun violence victims. And so they were speaking. And he was speaking about the West End and all the crime and everything that's going on there. And he said, the fathers are missing from this community. But it just surprised me that it wasn't clicking for him. Like, do you know where they are?
Are they lost?
They're in prison. You're locking them up. That's why they're missing. So it's just like, I don't know.
It's frustrating.
It's so frustrating.
Especially now. I guess now because I'm older, I say that. Because I just, like, I think about if I did have a kid. Would they fall into that? It's like, you don't want that. And then I don't, on the flip side, want like a Trayvon Martin or a Tamir Rice situation either.
Those can happen.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
it's scary.
Not about your circumstances. Sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And that leads me to this next point. It's like, I'm shocked that so many people are in 2018 just out there having kids. When people who are young, who are not established in their career, when they have kids nowadays, let's say from 2000 on, when there is no reason to me why people are still just having kids. There's too much education out there.
Yeah.
If you've graduated from high school, you shouldn't just have a kid. Do you have a 401k? It's like,
but to have,
I'm like, there's, I mean, I can't talk freely, but I mean, there are people that I know who have so many children, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
That is my number one question to people. I'm always like, and I usually don't ask the question because you get so many negative looks and feelings and thoughts.
No,
but I really
want
to know why do people why do you have kids? Not you, but why do people have kids? Mm-hmm. What motivates you to have a kid? And why do you then turn around and say, why don't I have kids? It's like, you know, because I get the no mom, what the kids call it, shame. I can't figure out the word, but people always say things to me like, well, why don't, I'm like, I don't want to, not yet. Mm-hmm. I'm still building. Yeah. I want to have a empire.
Right, a good foundation
a
for
really
these children
great
to come into.
Because what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. I mean, for the longest time, we had a 1-bedroom condo. Where am I going to put this child? I mean, I'm like, I don't know what y'all are thinking, but I'm thinking long term. I'm not thinking like, you know.
I mean, to me, in a sense, it's selfish. I'll say it.
Say it louder, sis.
I'll say it.
Say it louder.
It is, because I don't know. I feel like I was born in a very good foundation, but at one point we lost it all, and I'm like, wow, what kind of impact what kind of impact would that have had on me if I started out in this? Like, I wouldn't have been as educated and informed to come out of this rut as I am now.
What?
And
exactly.
I can't.
Let's just expand on that whole idea of it being selfish to have a kid. I mean, I love that because it is.
It is.
And but I think it's very like...
it's very touchy to talk about.
So touchy.
You don't want to be that person saying it, but I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. I mean...
Why?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what's missing. Like, is it the sex education talks? Is it...
Are people afraid of birth control? Because, I mean, they shouldn't be. I mean, it's there for you. And then, I can't. We'll have to talk offline.
I mean,
because there's so many things.
But I commend the parents who do have kids in these unplanned situations and get it together. Like, they see that it's like a wake-up call with most people that I know that have kids unexpectedly. It's like, oh, well, I am pregnant. It's time to turn my life around. And the people I know have done a wonderful job doing that. Yeah. But then there are people, you know, not in my immediate circle, but people that I do know that are just like, oh, another baby. Okay. I'm still going to be in, you know, my 1-bedroom apartment.
Still going to be my 1-bedroom. I want nothing else for my life but to be I mean, maybe it's a religious thing, though. Because this is like the Bible Belt. And a lot of people feel like a lot of women feel like their only purpose for being on this planet or being married is to procreate.
Yeah.
I am not one of those people.
I am not either, so no.
But there's not to say there's anything wrong with having kids. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Can I be nosy? I just want to, because this is real touchy. I just want to see what people say. She should just say it. Speak your truth. She grew up around kids all her life and taking in kids too, so she saw all walks. Oh, that's my mom. My mom's on here. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh, that's very nice.
Okay.
Cute, Mom. Thanks for watching, Mom. What's her name? I can't see that. Laura.
Yeah.
That's very sweet, Laura. Aw. She's cute.
Okay.
Make sure Laura isn't saying anything embarrassing. But yeah, parenthood is hard. And I mean, I'm speaking from the non-parent position, but I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
I started working in retail when I was 15 years old. And ever since then, people have constantly said one consistent thing to me is wait to have kids. Don't have kids.
Yeah, our parents tell us that all the time too. Because, I mean, they're saying what we're doing. We're traveling, we're investing, we're doing all this stuff that would just be so hard to do when you have a kid. Like,
somebody told me that yesterday, not to have kids.
Yeah.
Not take your time, just don't have them.
Don't.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you don't have kids? Don't worry about it. I mean, I've had like 80-year-old people say, oh, you don't have any kids? Girl, don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. Live your life. Enjoy your husband. People say that to me all the time.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Enjoy your husband. I think because I splattered him all over social media, but because he's so cute. But but we have a great time. Yeah. And I met him late, you know. I mean, I was 33 when I met him, I think. And he has just been like the best thing since sliced bread in my life. Yeah. And people are always like, either one or two things. You all would make such beautiful kids, or don't have kids and just enjoy each other. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know I have to make the decision for myself, and it's just it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard decision to make, because it is fun, it just being me and him. And, you know, we're buying another condo, or we're going to start traveling, and we're going to just have a life. And I still don't have my G-Wagon or my Birkin bag.
You know, they stopped making those.
I know! I am devastated, because now they're going to be even more expensive if I do want one. Mm-hmm. Priorities. But then there's, when do I have that kid?
Yeah.
You know? 40? 40.
It's up to you.
40?
I think that's what we need to hear more of, though. It's up to you.
Oh, what? Yes.
But you know, with this new administration, we're just losing.
I feel like every condo conversation comes to this topic.
It does, because we're losing control of our decisions of reproducing, and, you know.
So you moved here now. So get used to it, sis, because you're in Kentucky. You're in, Southern Indiana and Kentucky. So welcome to the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Get ready.
This is a very red state.
Super.
Yeah.
How red can we get?
I know.
What's redder than red?
It's very interesting, though, because I don't know. I've heard that, you know, these political parties are the biggest gangs of America, and I can't agree more.
Forget the Bloods and Crips.
Yes.
Forget that. There's a new gang in town. Yeah. What's their gang sign?
Oh my goodness.
But it's just a situation that we're living in. Yeah. We're gonna get there. Look, my brother, say hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark. Deep red. Yeah, very deep red.
But we're gonna I feel like, even though we are in this state of the world, and a lot of people don't understand, like, on both sides, it's flawed.
Yeah,
it's not perfect.
It's
not perfect. But for some reason, on the one side, it's a lot more like physically aggressive and verbally aggressive. The red side. And it's like you can't say anything. No. Like, even on Twitter, if you retweet something or you just read a thread, you're like, why are you so angry? I've blocked so many people, not people who said things to me personally, but people who just have had super bad spirits about just the whole situation.
Yeah.
I don't want that in my life. I'm really, right now in my life, I'm driven by energy. Mm-hmm. And I really like being around good energy. Yeah. And making sure that I'm trying to put out that positive energy.
Right. Yeah.
Hence this whole thing. Mm. But anyway, okay, I don't even know what time it is. We're just chit-chatting. What time is it?
We're having fun. 3:12.
Oh, my God. Where can we get the book?
So, it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Books A Million.
Oh.
Online.
Is it on shelves anywhere?
I don't believe so.
We gotta contact Johnson & Johnson. No, wait. 13th and Joan.
Yeah.
Who's this dedicated? Is your mom just going off right now?
I'm trying to figure out what else she's saying.
It's funny, my husband is listening to us.
Oh, is he listening?
He's listening, and I can hear myself whenever I say something here. He has his earbuds on, and I can hear it over there. I feel like I'm yelling at myself or yelling at my husband. Okay, so what chapter in here speaks to you the most?
Let me see, because the way this is set up, it's not really chapters.
Oh. So we have the introduction, mm-hmm. seed planting, which I love that phrase. Nourish.
Right. So let's back up. So seed planting is like the developmental stuff. Like, that stuff that's going to speak to you getting started.
Can we just say, are you going to do a part 2 of this when you're like in your 30s?
I am so upset. I mean, this has been a great experience, but I'm like, this easily could have been 2 books. It could have been a workbook. Like, this is something
That's what my beauty book is.
See?
It's a workbook.
That's a great idea. And
yeah.
I didn't think about that until people started emailing me like, I really wish you had like some responsive questions in here.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck?
Yeah. But no. Because I feel like right now, this is the 20-something-year-old you.
Yeah.
And then next, you're the 30-something-year-old you. And then, like, you can just keep going and you can show that growth in your book. And I just think that that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everybody needs to take their time with life.
Yeah.
Like, not be in a hurry. And I love this. I think it's so great.
Yeah. So I don't know when the next one's coming out.
Weathering the storm.
Yes. Dealing with all that.
All that. Going through it.
Mm-hmm.
Wildflowers.
Yeah.
Bloom.
Yes.
Acknowledgments and about the author. Oh, what's about the author? Let me just flip. To 441 at 24 years old.
But the only reason it's this length is because there are quotes that take up a whole page. Like small little quotes.
Did you come up with these quotes?
Yes.
So let's talk about this. Letting go never meant loving less.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so true, though.
It is.
Because sometimes you got to let them go.
Okay, think about when you just spoke about, like, energy and growth. Like, some people don't want to grow. They're very content in where they are.
I mean, I could shed a tear over that.
And the views are just the same, and it's not supportive of the new lifestyle you're trying to live. It's like, I love you, but I just can't deal with you anymore. So I'm going to have to let go because the place I'm going, you don't want to go there either.
Because you're not ready.
You're not ready.
Letting go never meant loving less. I love that. Okay, and this is also really good. And this is why I talk to a lot of different people in the Condo Conversation situation, because I am a fashion girl. To the core of me, I'm a fashion girl. But that doesn't mean that I can't be into other things because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And since I don't know everything, I have to learn and keep learning. And my husband said this last night to somebody because they said something about college or they stopped going to college. And he said, but you never stop learning.
Yeah.
Even though you can stop going to college, but don't just stop reading. Don't stop knowing. Anyway, so a wise woman, so I say all that to say this. A wise woman suggests that if you know one thing, it's that you know nothing. That is my everyday life. I ask so many questions. So why did you, so where'd you get your brow? What is that? What product is that? I love this. I love the shading. I love your hair. What products do you use? What are those earrings? Where are your earrings from? I really like these earrings. I really like
Beauty supply.
Beauty supply?
Yes.
Really? I mean, I can ask because I feel like that's the only way you're gonna grow.
Yeah.
You don't know everything, and the minute that you think you know everything, someone once said, "I alone can fix it." No. You alone cannot, because it takes a village. Not one person raised you.
Right.
You know. A wise woman once suggests that look, I can't read. A wise woman suggests that if you know one thing, but now I'm getting all congested. If you know one thing, it's that you know nothing.
And I think Lauryn Hill said something relatively similar. But
Auntie Lauren. Yeah.
She's teaching.
She is. And she also, I mean, her albums were, like, I feel like there's some music out there, like some music and some movies are just pure entertainment, you know? But there are little lessons all over the place, you know? And I feel like she is one of those people too that had little lessons. It's like, what'd you say? What'd you say, Auntie Lauren? I heard you, girl. And Mary J. Blige is also someone who has, I mean, you may not know who she is. But
I know who she is.
Yeah, little baby. Oh God, 24. When I was 24 years old, I think I was getting ready to graduate from college, my first time. And then I moved to Chicago because I wanted to work in PR and fashion. So I got the PR degree at the University of Southern Indiana in Evansville. And then I was like, but I want to do it, you know, big. And back then they didn't have like master's programs in fashion at the time. Not a lot of them. I don't know. Something that I can afford, and I could afford to go to this private school. I don't know. Anyway, so So I can't imagine being 24 and writing a book. I mean, this is just like beyond that. Do you know Oprah?
I don't know Oprah.
I met her. I'll get you in touch.
I would love that.
She's a very sweet, warm woman.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm getting congested. Oh, this is a good one. Read that.
Do you solemnly swear to stay in your lane, your whole lane, and nothing but your lane?
That's a good one.
I love this one because it really speaks to this era of comparison.
Don't even get me started. Look, we all can't be out here getting big lips and butt injections and walking around here with jet black hair. Everybody looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
Stop looking the same. Look like yourself. Like I have as I've gotten older have become obsessed with being natural. Like I still enjoy fake nails. I don't shade anybody for doing it. If that's your style, that's your style. But don't get the coffin shape and the stiletto shape just because you're seeing Kylie Jenner and Khloe Kardashian with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like be an original.
Yeah.
You know, like I can like stuff. I can get inspiration from other people, but don't jock the whole look, you know? Like, I love a good inspirational piece. Like, oh, girl, you know, oh, I love the way you did your eyebrows. Oh, I'm going to try that too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. But, like, all these people who all look like clones of the Kardashians, I'm over it.
I think people don't understand, like, when you try to replicate things, you're missing some of the key ingredients, which is the person who initiated it. You don't have their spirit. You do not have their thought process. So whatever you try to copy of that person will never really be what you think it is because you are just not them. You're you.
Speak on it, sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like people, and that all goes with how people feel about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They feel so badly about themselves that they don't even want to highlight the great things about themselves.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? Let's give us another quote.
Are we just flipping?
We're flipping. Aww.
Oh, this goes to the next one too. It says, true love is rare, but true friendship is rare.
That's true.
And then, how many of us have them?
I have the same friends that I have had forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Word to my friends. Word to my girls. But that's, I mean, like, they know me.
Mm-hmm.
We've been through so much. And but I am glad that I have recently been able to get new friends.
Yeah.
But all my new friends are not from this area. Like, I have a girlfriend that I just met, and no lie. So I'm a merchandise coordinator for Levi's, so I service different areas. And I was servicing Dillard's at the St. Matthews Mall, the juniors section. And this beautiful black woman comes over there. And she asked me for some 535 skinnies, and I was like, oh, you know, don't have them, blah, 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 blah. I made a conversation. We talked for 5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
We talked for 5 hours, and I'm still friends with her.
Oh my goodness.
Still friends with her. I was on a plane a couple weeks ago, and I met, oh my God, I sat down next to this woman, and me and her dished the whole entire flight from Denver to Louisville, and now we're friends on Facebook, and her husband works for Nike. I mean, it's the craziest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have just been so fortunate to just surround myself with people that have all these different perspectives, but that we all click, you know, and it's beautiful because, I mean, at 37, you don't think you're going to meet new friends, but I like it.
Yeah.
Because it's a different perspective.
Yeah, it is.
Friends, how many of us have them?
Yeah.
That's very funny.
I don't think I met, like, some of my best friends are from college when I went to North Dakota State. Like, I have one.
North Dakota State.
One. And we both came from Minnesota. So I think, like, we instantly clicked. And then 2 of them are from North Carolina, or 3 of them that I met in college. And then my sister that we adopted, I think we are the closest as well. So it's just like...
Are you guys close in age?
No, well, she's probably like 10. No, she's gonna kill me.
Uh-oh. Hope she doesn't want
No, we're not the same in age. She's a little older.
She's a little older. But that's probably your speed because you have that mature spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't realize that. I've been around a lot of people older than me too, growing up.
Yeah.
So.
Because your oldest sibling is in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all close?
Not as close as I'd like for us to be.
Aww.
So.
I get that. Family's tough.
It is. Especially when you have like a large separation in age and you know they have kids already and like their own lives. It's just, we're all over the place.
Yeah. Wait, my husband's telling me something.
Is my mom on here acting crazy? Oh, Brittany's 27.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Gosh, you are helpful. I like her. She's like my mom.
Oh, right.
Christy, I'm like, okay, Karen. Moms. How many of us have them? My mom is hilarious. She's probably somewhere watching Hallmark movies. Anyway, I digress. Next one. Oh, what's this?
Your excuses are just the lies you tell yourself to feel better.
Say it again. Listen up.
Oh, are you serious?
I am so serious.
Your excuses are just the lies you tell yourself to feel better.
I don't like excuses. I used to I think that I used to give a lot of excuses.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do it anymore. At least I try not to.
Yeah.
I try to have solutions and not excuses.
Well, what clicked for you where you realized that you were doing that?
I don't know. I feel like in my life I've had these like gradual eases into the next phases of my life. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. I guess it's just being older or feeling. Usually if I recognize it in somebody else and I don't like it, I'll check my own self and be like, oh, do you do that too? No. Get up and do it. Stop being lazy.
Yeah.
And I think that also I put a lot of pressure on myself as a Black woman to not be lazy.
Okay.
And to not be like, make excuses. I don't want to ever say I didn't get that because I was Black. You know, even if I know, or you know, I try not to listen to that voice because I don't want to live in a mindset of limitations. Mm-hmm. I just can't do it. It's so exhausting.
Yeah,
but
I think it was a little different experience for me because, like, especially when you're dealing with mental health, it's like this constant battle of like, today I don't feel like people. Today I don't feel like getting out of bed. Today I don't feel like talking at all. Period. And it's just like. That type of mentality, although as serious as it is, it gets in the way of just all of these opportunities out there. And so there came a point where I'm just like, that's an excuse. Like, you're tired, you're not really tired. Do you just feel like not dealing with people?
And is that okay?
Sometimes it's okay.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be in that mindset to a point where it's just starting to get in the way of your life.
I mean, and to me, I mean, that is all very true points that you say. And I was looking at it, I was thinking of it in a much lighter way. I was thinking, like, when people complain about aches and pains.
Yeah.
That bothers me. You're not doing anything about it, so stop talking about it. Oh, yes. Oh, did that come off the wrong way?
No, that came out the right way.
Hey, but it just... to my core, if you complain about it
and you're not doing
anything about it,
stop it.
And those are the excuses, like, oh, I can't, I love, well, get out of my face. Like
I'm done sympathizing with you because you're not doing anything about it.
I'm just done.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, wait, over there. Okay. The process of self-healing is a privilege. Self-healing is not a superpower. Self-healing is a genuine process of the relationship between the body and soul. Self-healing
is something that's really hard for people. You know, I was talking to a close member of my family, and they were saying that they were blaming themselves for all this stuff that happened to them when they were like 13 and 14. And I was like, but you do know that you were 13 and 14 when it happened, so you can't blame yourself. You've got to heal that and move on. Yeah. Because it's literally, you did it, but you were still under the guidance of your parents. And your parents should have jumped in and parented instead of you taking on an adult situation that a 13 and 14-year-old mind just couldn't do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Been there.
I just don't, I feel like people put too much on themselves at certain points in their lives. Like, if I do something now, I'm grown, okay? I know better. But when I'm in my 20s, there are things that I've even posted, and I look back and I'm like, oh, I can't believe that I said that. It's the evolution. It's the self-healing. It's the growth. And I mean, it is, people get stuck in these ruts. But if you're 14, you shouldn't hold on to something that happened to you when you were 13 or 14 until the time you're 55 or 56.
Yeah, you need to make some type of breakthrough at that point.
You need to break through. I mean, and there are people who are not, so many people. Welcome to Louisville, honey. Welcome to Southern Indiana. You going, ooh, wait. And you live in Charlestown?
Yes. Well, I think the big misconception here also is that when we talk about self-healing, it's something that will happen overnight.
Right.
But it takes a lot of time.
Because you have to discover it. It's like you have to discover it, you have to fix it, and that is painful. Mm-hmm. It's painful and it's a process. But you got to come out of it.
Through college, I was still working on things that were hurting me from that 2010 era. But
girl,
the thing about it is, like, when I tell some people that, they're like, well, by then maybe you should have gotten over it. But it just really took time.
Oh, and that phrase, getting over it, that bothers me the most.
It bothers me too. Because you don't really know what type of impact or, like, what trauma I was dealing with at that point.
And how it affected you personally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because just because it affected you one way doesn't mean that it's going to affect someone else a different way. And nothing is universal. Nothing is universal.
But I think as long as you can identify that you're making legible steps towards healing and growth, it's like good for you.
Yeah.
Really good for you.
That is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I have met so many people. I don't know why they're so stuck. They have had the same, I guess they just didn't see it. Because I see it. I was going to say, they've had the same tools that I've had, but they just didn't. I don't know.
Sometimes it's about your community. Because there have been people that I've met, especially in college, that have seen something in me that at one point I didn't see in myself, which motivated me to work even harder to get to this place where I'm at now of just like complete self-love and understanding of who I am.
That is, yeah. So my one of my best girlfriends, Erin Hoddle, she said to me one day before we went to college, right after we graduated from high school, I was just going off about my weight and being unhappy and being ugly and never finding a man and never finding a career because I don't look like this, and this, and I work in the fashion industry. And she said to me, she said, Christy, you're never going to love yourself no matter what size you are. And I was
that's real deep.
What does that mean? But when I lost weight, I still was unhappy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I get it now. So I had to dive deeper. Yeah. Because I lost the weight and I was with him and I was over one hurdle. Because there's many hurdles. Mm-hmm. There's many different triggers that make you like that time back in the day come back in your head. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost like what's it, post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD. But it's like having that. Look, people are just commenting. Oh, now Mark's talking to his friends. Hi, Aaron, and thank you. I am trying to get my Oprah on. I just need a couch.
No, this is great.
Thank you.
I know Red Table. You know Red Tabletop?
Yeah, I was so said, Jada, how dare you still, Jada Pinkett Smith. You owe me coins.
You need to write Christy a check
because I started this. Like I started this. Wait. As long as YouTube's been going around. I think Oprah started it. Donahue started it. Was it Donahue? Who was before Oprah? Nobody in my mind. But anyway, yes, many triggers. But she said that, and it really stuck with me. And when she, like at the time, didn't realize it. 2000, it took me to 2011, 12, 14 mm-hmm. for it to really like click in my head. But that's time. That's a process. Mm-hmm. I love it. I think, what did my brother say? Time's out.
Time out.
Time out? About what?
About you telling Jada. She owes you something.
Jada does owe me money.
Write her a check.
Your mom is so cute.
She is.
What is she talking about? I don't even know what happened.
I don't know. What is happening?
What is
that? Dialogue up here.
There is some dialogue. Laura is telling somebody I could teach. Is your mom Caucasian?
Yes, she is.
Okay, because I was like, what is she talking about? Teach Black history? Your mom teaches Black history?
No. No, but that's one thing I could say. She doesn't teach Black history, but she's taught me a lot about, like, when I see interracial couples and they have these children, I've heard a lot about...
Wait, oh, okay. In my mind, I was thinking like a biracial person and a biracial person having a kid, but you're talking about, okay.
Like a white and black
okay.
come together.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
The person who's usually white is unaware of the culture and not very sensitive to things that are going around specifically in the Black community, but I'm very thankful, like, my mom doesn't stray away from that conversation. Like, she wants to know what's going on, how she can help. So, no, not a Black history teacher, but definitely someone who's been, like, cognitive of everything.
And I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. I really do. Because I think that, well, I think it would be hard to have a interracial relationship and expect that person who wasn't the same race to be able to identify or sympathize with your experiences. Because how could they?
Right.
And I want... that goes into a whole nother subject for me, and I know all my Southern Indiana friends are probably like, here she goes, but I'm not gonna go there, guys. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. But I appreciate that because I have so many friends who have me trying to be sensitive right now and trying not to say the things that I really want to say in my head. I have so many friends who are in interracial relationships who I hope are teaching their daughters especially, and I shouldn't really be gender specific, but teaching their daughters specifically how to be strong Black women, because society will see them as Black, and they won't be like, look at that cute little biracial girl, that strong biracial girl, you know?
That's
or you know, Latin or whatever, you know, whatever the situation is, and what they call them, A. Marie. Like, it is just, it's difficult, and it's hard enough for Black people in the Black community to feel pride in themselves and to really understand, like, their heritage, that, you know, all Black people aren't from the South, so we don't all sound like country bumpkins, and there's nothing wrong with appreciating your history. You know, Black people were kings and queens, and they spoke very highly of like life and culture, and they were very educated. And, you know, we went to the African American Museums in Washington, D.C.
How was that?
Oh my gosh.
I really want to go.
It was amazing, but it was so enlightening to see, like, how much pride our ancestors put into their appearance, and how they wore these beautiful gowns and headdresses, and how they would do their hair and the makeup, and all that stuff came from back in the day. And I really wish that, like, Black women would still carry on that tradition of, like, being so prideful in their look, and because I think it's important, you know, when you care about yourself, I think it all ties in. When you care about yourself, you do present yourself in a better way. You know, if you look good, you got your face big, you like shoulders back, you feeling it. Yeah. But when you look like a bum, you're kind of like, oh, I hope I don't see that girl today. You know, I hope I don't. I'm just running to Kroger, but I don't want nobody to see me. But it's like, well, put on some gloss, put on a shoe, get out of your flip flops,
brush some brows back.
Just
brush them back.
Oh, just get the flyaways. You know, like, and then put an earring on, like. Be okay with yourself. Feel good about yourself. Have pride in yourself.
Yeah. I think, what do you think about the concept of just, like, the miseducation piece? Like, some people in our community don't feel like dressing up or presenting themselves in a certain way because they don't understand where they come from.
I know.
Or traditionally.
How do we fix that?
Yeah.
I have something I'm working on.
I'll be excited to see it.
You might be a part of it. I'm gonna need like a belt.
I'm just so nervous about what she's on here saying.
I know, right? I mean, that's just a thing. My husband's over there cracking up, so no telling. But really, I mean, I do these conversations because I do love fashion, and I do want to talk about fashion, of course. That is my passion. But I just really want people to get something out of it for themselves. A little bit of self-esteem, a little bit of like, I love myself, and oh, let me think, do I leave the house looking a mess sometimes? You know, like a little bit of reflection.
Yeah.
Because it's so super important, and a little bit of sensitivity for the people who are not like you.
Yes, yeah. I think it's very important. I'm so happy that you have this platform, by the way, because
Well, I mean, it's a very small platform, but I'm trying.
It's gonna grow. I'm
trying.
I'm speaking it. So receive it. But
yeah, especially living here.
Yeah.
I really didn't have these thoughts when I lived in Chicago for obvious reasons. When some of those people stepped out, they stepped out. And I'm like, oh my God, look at the way you look amazing. Oh my gosh, you must have all this money. But I mean, they just cared. Mm-hmm. They could have been, their whole outfit could have been from Walmart. Yeah. All their makeup products could have been from Walmart. Hair could have been from Walmart. But they just cared. Yeah. And that's important to me it's important. Maybe I don't want to be superficial, but I mean, I could be wrong.
Well, some people say when you look good, you feel good.
No, don't they?
And sometimes it's vice versa. When you feel good, you look good, but it's just like...
And sometimes you can just be putting on a facade.
Yeah.
Right, honey? Because my husband is super smart. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, huge brain. He says things sometimes that I'm like, what? But he's a Cancer, so he's really, his thirst for knowledge.
What are you?
I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
Throw it up. But his thirst for knowledge is, like, always there. Mm-hmm. It's always on. Mm-hmm. I mean, he could be reading something and he'll be like, hey, babe, did you know that? Da-da-da-da. I'm like, did you just read that?
Yeah.
But he'll put things together that's really kind of crazy, and he just figures it out no matter what it is. It could be electrical work, and he'll just be like, I just watched it on YouTube. And I'm like, and you just did it?
Oh, well, keep him.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Larry, he's like, what is this?
How old is Larry?
23.
Larry will get there because he's a baby too.
Work on it.
Yeah. Work on it. I mean, YouTube is a great tool.
Oh, no, it is. I was on there this morning, like, how can I pull up grass the fastest? Like, what's the fastest way to pull up?
Oh, because you have the yard.
This grass, yeah.
That's why we have condos, because we don't like yard work. My husband was like, I did that when I was young. I ain't doing it no more. He put his foot down.
Like 90-degree weather yesterday, and I'm trying to pull up plants, replace them, and all this other stuff. So I'm just like,
I mean, that's a beautiful thing that you're taking pride in your home. Don't get...
I love gardening.
It's all connected.
But in 90-degree weather, I'm like,
It's a beautiful thing that you're like this. Cheers to you.
Thank you.
Cheers to you. Mom, you did a great job. Laura, shout out to you. And she loves learning, Mom said.
Is she on there acting up? I just need to... She's being good. Okay. Thanks for being on your best behavior today, Mom.
Laura, don't be like Karen. Karen hasn't said anything, and I am grateful. But she'll say something later, because she might be catching up on her Young and the Restless right now. Oh. I mean, right now they're doing the holiday movies on Hallmark Network, mm-hmm. and so me and her really get into that because we're Christmas fiends.
Yeah.
We love Christmas. Kind of obsessed with it. Anyway, wrapping up, I do this thing called Rapid Questions at the end of all my condo conversations. I'm going to reach over, grab it from my husband. Okay. First of all, thank you.
Thank you.
Because, one more time, tell them. Name of the book.
Woman.
Blossoming
The Blossoming Woman by Bryann Andrea. And you can get it on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and Books A Million.
I love Books A Million. It's so cozy in there.
Let me tell you, I don't know what Books A Million is.
What?
Never been to one.
You've never been to Books A Million?
No. I just know my book is there. So, shout out to Books A Million. But, yeah, I don't know. I've only been to Barnes & Noble.
Wait, your mom just said something that was very interesting. Mom, I need you to come in. Where does Mom live?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, Mom? Are y'all huge? Minnesota, is that, no, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah, Prince.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So my mom used to work for him.
Used to work for Prince?
Back in the day.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, back in the day. Are you a big Prince fan?
I would dance right now, but I'm not going to embarrass myself. Last night we went out and they played Kiss on the TV screen. And I was like, and 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10. I used to be a dancer, so I love choreography. Yeah. But Prince, in that Kiss video, his steps were so like effortless. And then his whole little outfit and his belly chain. I mean, he was doing belly chains before belly chains were belly chains. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was so ahead of the fashion curve. I mean, the velvet, flare leg, bell bottomy, and the high heels. Everything about Prince is just like, and when he passed, I was actually on set. I was working as a stylist, and the woman who was my boss, the lead stylist, she actually knew people who knew him, and she made a call because we were all like, did he die? No, that's just the internet. They always kill people on Twitter, you know.
Yeah.
And she called and she's like, no, he's really dead.
Yeah, I remember. I was in college.
Awful.
I was coming back from getting my nails done, and they said it on the radio, and I just cried.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me because Madonna, Michael Jackson, Prince were all born the same year that my dad was born. Mm-hmm. And so when Michael Jackson passed, Dad was in town, and I remember he was just laying in a dark room in my brother's apartment on a beanbag, and he was just like devastated. Devastated. And I was like, man, that would be like Beyonce passing away, and oh my God, woo! Just don't ever let that happen, Jesus. Let me go for her. And Beyonce, I will be at that funeral. I don't even want to talk about it. Oh, Jesus, no. But that's how it was for my dad. And so, sorry, I'm like getting all congested right now. But, so I can't even imagine. I mean, at one point, I don't know if he just yawned or something, but he had a little tear that came out of his eye. And I was like, Dad, are you okay? And he's just like, this is really hard for me. And I was like, Dad. Like, so when Prince died, I was like, throw it away. I can't. It was too much.
Yeah.
Dad has always had, my dad used to be a drummer. Well, he's still a drummer. So all that music, I mean, albums of Prince's since he had the long hair on the cover. Like, I've always, so it was very sad. Oh, Mom. So it's very interesting that Mom used to work for Prince. Anyway, questions time. Don't forget to pick up her book.
Yes.
The Blossoming Woman. I mean, it's just, I can't even believe it. And my book will be out next. Anyway.
I can't wait for it.
It's cute.
I'm ready for it.
Oh,
especially since it's a workbook. I'm like,
yes. It is a workbook. It's a beauty workbook.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to really get women thinking about their own personal routines because too many women don't have routines.
Yeah.
And you have to have a routine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to wash your face before you go to bed at night, which is like
essential, key.
I mean, when I see those Kardashians pretending like they're sleeping and they still have makeup on, and I know the girls are like, oh, Kim does it.
Just waking up. Like,
fresh beat. That powder is fresh. You did not just, it makes me. Anyway, 5 questions.
Okay.
Be as honest as possible.
Wait, you said rapid questions. Does this mean I have to answer fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Number 1. I mean, wait, they're not that deep.
Oh,
Let me stop.
I'm just over here trying to prepare. Like,
Number 1, what's your favorite dessert of all time?
red velvet cake.
What icing?
Cream cheese.
Just making sure she didn't say buttercream. She's a real fan. Number 2, best day of your life so far.
Best day of my life. Getting accepted into college. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, and a full ride, so you don't have student loans?
Yes. Well, I do have a student loan.
But they're small, aren't they?
But very small, so.
Mine are not. I don't want to talk about it. Favorite time of day?
Night, because that's when I'm most productive.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I hate that too, because I should be going to sleep, but that's when my juices are going. Mm-hmm. And I can be up until like 8 a.m. and just, I could have been up the whole entire night.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me. What is your dream job? If you could do anything on this planet Earth, what would you do?
Travel the world and talk about mental health and personal development.
Well, that's what you're doing.
On a very small budget, though. We need very large scale. So, Oprah, if you want to trickle down some funds, I can help you do the
I
work.
always like to hit up, celebrities on Twitter because you never know who's listening.
Like when Nicki Minaj did her student loan giveaway. So, the case is.
When I found out about that,
you probably won't see this, but I need some money.
I'm so mad about that. I mean, at this point, I need like a big celebrity to donate to me. There's that website, loan gifts or gift loan or something, where people that you can ask people for money, and there's that pot, there's a website that they can put their money into, and then you would just take the funds and apply them to your loans.
I didn't know about that.
It's called loangifting.com or something like that. I mean, I'm too prideful to ask people to give me money, but if you want to give me money, I will take it. If it was a sponsor Condo Conversations, I won't say no. Okay, so dream job, travel the world, talking about mental health, selling many books. So this is the 20-year-old version, the blossoming woman. Then we'll go to the 30-year-old.
This is our teens and 20s.
Teens and 20s.
In here.
Jesus. I was so dumb in my 20s and my teens. I mean, anyway, I would have, never mind. What is your, last question, and what is your wardrobe staple? Can't live without it, need it every day.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? Just one.
Wardrobe staple. I just can't get away from heels. And I'm 5'10"-ish.
Who cares? So are models. Yes.
So I love heels. I love heels.
Me too.
We'll have to talk. We'll have to share some of our goodies.
I mean, and I think that that's a message also. When girls are 5'10", I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
You better pop on that heel.
See, that's what I told, like, when Larry and I first started dating. I was like, oh, you wear heels? Because, I mean, he's tall, but he's like 6'1". So not very tall, but he was like, when I put on heels, I'm a little bit taller than him, maybe. And he's like, I'm like, well, you're going to have to deal with this.
You're going to have to deal.
These aren't going
Get your self-esteem up. Because that's all that is. There's no need. All those models who date all those short men, and they're like popping on those 6-inch, please. I wish somebody would tell Giselle to put on a flat.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I go down the rabbit hole really fast. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like I've been rambling, and I do apologize, but this was informative.
This was very fun, too.
Yeah. That is all for now. Condo Conversations. I will be back next week, I believe. Is it next week, the 22nd? No? 2 weeks? 22nd. And I will have a really exciting guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but she'll be here in my house. I can't believe it. It's nice talking to you, or nice talking to you. And I will see you all later. Bye, Mom. Nice meeting you. And we're done.